So, welcome to our free inversion class. We'll be doing basically what we're going to do mostly today is a warm up. So I don't want the drills to be too hard for everyone to be really tiring, so that we can spend a lot of time on sort of workshopping also what's upside down, kind of like doing the headstands and the forearm stands and things like this, and the handstands, who knows. But before we start, it's good if everyone has, it's not necessary, yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, it's yours, I put them ready. If you don't have yoga blocks at home, you can also use books or pillows. Pillows are going to be a bit harder, but for some of the drills, you can use like a sturdy pillow or something. It'll be also very nice if you have a yoga strap near. If you don't have a strap, you can use a resistance band. If you don't have a resistance band, you can use maybe a scarf or something. So make sure that if you're doing a replay, you have these things ready. I know the students in the class have everything here, luckily. If you're doing the class with me in person, if you want to do the program and you're coming in person, we have yoga blocks and straps and mats here. So you don't have to worry about that. For people practicing at home, highly advised in purchasing these items. If you're in TBC, they're not very expensive. You can get them in the sports stores around the stadium near Vauxhall. And same with yoga straps. Okay, we're gonna start sitting seated in an easy seat. So this is an easy seat just with your feet crossed. If this is very uncomfortable for you, you can also sit on a block to make it a bit higher. If that is still uncomfortable, I know for some people that is still very uncomfortable, you can also choose, if that is more comfortable, to sit on your shins. If this is not very uncomfortable, you can also place a block in between your feet and sit on top of that. If both of these are still very uncomfortable, sit in a different way, whatever is accessible to you, basically. I'm gonna sit without a block, but we want also these, especially during a warm up, we also want it to be comfortable because we're gonna get our body ready. Place your hands on your knees and make large circles with your upper body over your knees. Make sure you round your spine. So in the front and in the back. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like. And your sit bones can roll around from side to side. It's okay. Other direction. When you go to the front, breathe in, breathe out. When you go to the back, or try to. And try to breathe through your nose. This helps us lower our heart rate once we do more, how would you say, tiring exercises. Great, sit up straight. Place your right hand on the ground next to you. Left hand goes up and over. Bend to the side. Make sure you don't bend forward, bend up. So that means you have to go slightly out of it, go slightly out of it. If you can look up and really connect with your breath here. Let's do the other side. Left hand on the ground, right hand up and over. And I am definitely feeling more stiff on this side. I always do, actually. And you really want to reach with your hand up. So not down, but sort of like make a straight line with your body. You really feel that side stretch. Great. Come back to the center. Put your chin on your chest and make circles with your head in one direction. Don't go too fast. I like closing my eyes here and listen to the weird sounds, the crackling in my neck, and feeling where I'm feeling tight, if you're feeling tight anywhere. Other direction. and center. From here, keep on looking forward, but move your ear towards your shoulder. We're trying to keep a straight spine here. Don't sit over to the side, don't hollow out too much. Try to keep your shoulders over your sit bones. And now look to the ground. So I'm shifting my gaze sort of to the side. If you're in an easy seat, it's basically looking at your knee. You're sitting differently than sort of like diagonally towards the ground. Look back in front, place your head up, other ear. Now, for any inversion, there is a variety of things that are important. So from here, again, look at the ground. And these things are upper mobility and strength. So shoulder strength, arm strength, but also the flexibility. Look back up, neutral. From here, if you're in your easy seat, grab with your left hand, your right knee, right hand goes behind you. Push yourself up and twist to the side. If you're on your shins, you can do the same, but you'll probably have to grab the side of your knee. So one thing is the upper mobility, but the other hand, you also need lower mobility, lower flexibility. Look back to the front, come out of your twist, other side. So left, right hand, left knee, left hand behind, prop yourself up, twist to the side. You need some kind of flexibility in your hamstrings. You need strength in your, okay, let's look to the front. Sorry, I'm talking. You want to have strength in your quads and in your hip flexors, and you want core strength. So what we're going to do first is we're going to just warm our bodies up. We're just going to make sure that our bodies are warm in terms of flexibility and in terms of strength. We're going to come into a tabletop. And I'm going to take my shirt off. So another fun thing for inversions, being upside down, is that it's not really nice to do them with t-shirts on, because they will end up in your face. So only like really like slim fit things that cannot roll into your face. Highly recommend them. That's why you see a lot of people working out in these kind of outfits, because it's just very useful. We're going to roll over with our upper body over our hands in one direction. And also here, ensure that you have a straight spine. Now, if this is really painful on your knees, just sitting on your knees, just put a pillow under your knees. It's going to be more comfortable. And in the other direction, reverse the movement. We don't want to go too much over our range right now. So we're just warming up our wrists. And wrist warm up is very, very important with inversions, especially, of course, with the handstand, less so forearm stand and headstand. Point your fingers towards your knees and rock back and forth. Your palms can lift off the ground. And maybe the movement is very small, yeah, if you're not used to making these kind of drills. You can also put a micro bend in your elbows and not lift your palms off the ground. You will feel a different kind of stretch in your forearms. Sit back on your shins, if you can, and interlace your hands and roll them in one direction. Now, for handstands especially, people think, okay, roll them in the other direction, that it's wrist strength, but it's actually forearm strength. So it's actually strength of this arm, because the muscles in your wrist are very small. So it's really hard to build any strength in there. You can build flexibility in there, but strength is very, very hard. And you really want to build up the strength of these muscles here. Now, place your hand in front of you, fingers down, right hand, and grab your fingers at the base with your other hand and pull them towards you. Try to sit with a nice, long, elongated spine. And relax, other hand. With elongated spine, I mean a nice and long, straight spine. So no back bending or rounding here. Try to keep it nice. and straight. Okay, let's shake it out. We're gonna do some hand raises. And for that, there's two ways. If you are familiar with these kind of exercises, please do them in tabletop. I know most people that are here right now, they can easily do this. Still some construction going on here. So when you come into tabletop, you raise up to your knuckles and you lower up and down. So if you can do this with your shoulders over your wrist, do this. If this is too hard, come to your shins and place your hands next to you. And you can do the same exercise like this. So check out where you are today. Beautiful work, Ishvi and Simone. Okay, come back to seated on your shins. From here, it's uncomfortable, but let's work our feet and core a little bit. You're gonna place your hands slightly behind you if you can, or a lot behind you. You're gonna try to lift your knees up from the ground. And for you, Simone, see if you can do it without hands. I think you can, because then you work your core a little bit much harder. And Ishvi, if you move around, okay, it'll be easier. Come back down. I can tell my feet are a bit not enjoying this. Curl your toes under and push your body back onto them a little bit, just for a feet stretch here. Great, beautiful. We're gonna come back into our tabletop. You're gonna lift your right leg into your belly, move it out to the side, move it up and behind you and back in. And we're gonna make these circles. Try to keep your spine nice and straight. The reason we do this, so this is hip mobility, and it's partially also a bit of compression strength, especially here. And compression strength is what really helps with doing inversions. Okay, rotate it in the other direction and be mindful about your shoulders being over your wrists. So that not like this, but really distribute the weight evenly. Great, we're gonna do the other side. So bring your left leg in, your belly out to the side, up and in. Keep breathing and try breathing really through your nose. Reverse. Last one. Great. Beautiful. Place your fingers to the side of the mat so they're facing sideways and rock over your arms from side to side. Great. From here, we're going to work a little bit on our shoulder flexibility and mobility. You're going to come in a puppy dog. So if you don't know what a puppy stretch is, it's basically you're in your tabletop, you place your hands in front of you of the mat, and now you bring your head through your shoulders, and then see if you can bend through the shoulders a bit more, and then bend from the lower back. Try to get your forehead to touch the mat if you can. If not, that's fine. Just stay where you are, and make sure your hips are over your knees. So not too much forwards and not too much backwards. Now we're in this passive shoulder stretch, back bend, and we're gonna make it an active one. And we do this by tucking our tailbone under. So I'm rotating my pelvis and I'm gonna round my entire spine. I'm looking through my knees. My hands are on the mat, but the rest of my upper body's off the mat. I'm pressing into the mat with my hands, and I'm thinking about bringing my armpits down to the mat. They're not gonna move, but that's the energy we want. Bring your navel, your belly button to your spine,
to activate your core a bit in this as well. You might start trembling. You really activate hard. So engage your glutes. Touch your feet into the mat to really make it more active. And from here, relax into your passive puppy. Now with me, it looks like this, right? But it's okay if your passive puppy looks like this. We're all starting somewhere else. I started 2 years ago, so obviously I've had some experience. Okay, from here, walk your hands back in. Come seated in an easy seat. Massage, you can massage your forearms like this a bit. I feel it, I worked out yesterday, but now about you, Ishvi.
Yeah, my legs in the back.
Yeah. So Ishvi did the other course with me that just finished, was a back bend course we had class yesterday. And Simone, I don't know about you, if you're sore, take it all out, it's possible. We're gonna activate our core. So during the course, the program, we work a lot on our core strength. But even if you already have a very strong core, it's very useful to activate your core, even with a little bit of workouts before you do your inversion training. And this is because that helps you balance better upside down. So we're going to do some high boat and low boat. And depending on where you are in your practice, please be kind to yourself. We are working here with people today that have some background in these exercises. So I want them to do the full thing, but if you're practicing from home, just figure out where you're at right now. You're gonna place your hands on his fingertips next to you. You're gonna lift up your tippy toes here. Now, maybe this is already hard. If it's not, bring your legs up, cramping my feet, to a 90 degrees. So I'm like, or 90 degrees, they're like horizontal now. You can keep your hands on the ground here. Energy of knees is towards each other. You can also raise your hands up here. Make sure your spine is nice and long. Your chest goes up. And from here, see if you can come into a low boat, which is this. In your low boat, make sure your lower back is on the ground. If that is not the case, put your feet up higher. And see if you're here, can you come back up to a high boat? Beautiful job. Yes, Ishvi. You can use your hands as well if it's needed. Continue doing this. If at any point you're tired, get out of it. If not, continue with me back to a low boat. We're going to come into a low boat. But from here, anyone who has the ability to, bring your hands up overhead. This is your handstand, but laying down. And now everyone relax. So that should have really woken up for most people, the abs, especially the movement. Even sitting down like that is gonna work. Even this is good. Now we're gonna work again a little bit on our compression strength.
When
Yeah.
the legs down, my back goes up, so it's better to keep your head. Right?
Yes, yes. So Ishvi was asking if people didn't hear this, because this is very important. Let me place this a bit more like this. She says, oh, if I place my feet down, this is what my back is doing. And there are two reasons that this happens. One is for strength, and the other one could be flexibility. Now, we will do some more exercises. I honestly think it might, with you, also have to do with your shoulder flexibility and your tendency to take everything from the lower back. So yeah, I've taught issues for a while now, so I know her strengths and weaknesses. So you really want to make sure you keep that lower back on the ground. Why? Because that's how we practice our core, our transverse dominance. Okay, we're going to do a couple more compression strength drills. If you are with me in this course already, I want you to do them sitting up like this and placing your hands forward. And I want everyone to try. I'll give a notification if this is too difficult, because I know This is not necessarily easy. I'm having my feet in a staff position. I'm pointing my toes. I'm gonna lock my knees in, so my legs stay straight. Place my hands in front of me, nice open chest. I'm raising one leg up, and then the other. So keep your legs straight. If this is hard, you can also come to your forearms and do it. It's a similar exercise. But if you have the ability to do this, this is what we want, because we want to be able to bring those legs in as close as we can. And that's especially the case for headstands. You need a lot of compression strength for headstands to get into them safely. And that's what we want, of course. A couple more. And last one. Okay, you can roll out your quads. You probably feel it in your quads a little bit. If you feel it in your quads, it's most likely because your hip flexors are quite weak. And honestly, most people, their hip flexors are weak because we sit in a chair all day. Whether we're students or we're working, we're usually sitting in chairs. Okay, from here, flex your toes towards yourself, bring your hands out, and move only your upper body to the other side of the room. Now, if you notice, so for those who can do it. If you notice you're rounding in your lower back, don't do this, because that's not what we want to practice. Grab a block, sit on it, with your sit bones sort of almost falling off it, or off it if it's possible, and see if that helps you straighten your back. Beautiful work, Ishri. And then do the exercise as well. It is not important how low we come, but what is important is that we're tilting our hips here. Beautiful. We're doing this partially to open up our hamstrings. So let's come back to seated. Bring your feet in again very close as you can, and grab under. Now put your toes on the sticky toes, so you may have to like walk them in a little bit. Really hug those knees as close as you can, and try to lift one leg up and then the other leg. One leg and then the other leg. You might probably not be able to straighten it fully. If you can, that's great. If you can, then hold them tight so you feel it in your hamstrings. And if this is very easy for you, see if you can keep your knees and your upper body closed so you don't move them, and you're doing it without hands. This is harder in terms of compression strength, but it takes a little bit off the hamstring one. So figure out what it is for you. Now place your feet mat distance apart, your hands behind your fingers pointing towards the back, and windshield wiper out your legs. Now we did some core stuff, we did some lower body stretching and mobility work, and we're now gonna start working on our shoulders a bit more. And we're gonna do this by coming first into a down dog. So down dog distance, easiest way to measure is by coming into a plank. That's the distance that you also want for your down dog. From here, push your butt up into the air, and you are in a down dog position. In your down dog, pedal out your feet like so. Try to keep your hips as straight as possible and your shoulders as well. And now come to the top of your toes, bend your knees, push your chest towards your knees, and then try to straighten them without losing that back bend. Now come back to neutral with your shoulders, tippy toes, bend your knees, push your chest towards your upper legs, and straighten out. From here, make small little bounces with your head towards the mat.
And last one, come back to your tippy toes, come to your knees, sit on your shins for a while. Now, officially down dog is a resting position in yoga, but I remember when I started, I found it very hard to stay in it for a long time. So if at any point during this course, during this class, you feel tired, it's okay to sit down. You can also take a child's pose, whatever it is, because we're gonna make it a bit harder, because we're gonna do a dolphin pose. Now, a dolphin pose is one of the best ways to build upper body strength and flexibility, and that's what we want for our inversions. Also, the nice thing about a dolphin pose is that it's preparation for our forearm stand, our pincha. So how do we get into it? Come back into your tabletop, interlace your hands. So bring up my forearms on the ground. I'm interlacing my hands here. If this is very easy for you, you can also place your hands parallel on the mat. I personally prefer interlaced hands because it gives me more power. From here, curl your toes under and lift your knees up into the air. Now, this is already for a lot of people very, very tough. You want to push your chest towards your legs. If this is easy, walk your feet in. If this is hard and you cannot get that straight line, it's okay to planche to go over a little bit. Now, from here, look at your fingers, at your thumbs, and see if your nose can touch them. If that is ankle back. If that's easy, chin. And we're gonna push back and forth here a couple of times. Huh?
This is the forearm strength.
Yeah, this is, no, for forearm stand. Yeah, not forearm strength. This is shoulder strength and hip flexor strength. If this is hard, you can also do it on your knees, or if you get tired, move it towards your knees. And last one, lower your knees, come sitting on your shins. If you have it available, grab a strap. So I'm going to check the time. Great. You can do this sitting down or standing up. You choose. I'm going to sit down so it's easy for people at home to see me. And you take the strap. I'd say relatively wide for the first time. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands up and over. Shoulder flossing. Now, if this is, you feel like it's very easy, make it shorter. I do want everyone to be keeping their elbows locked in, so no bending of the elbows, please. And go through it mindfully. You can choose here to back bend into it and use your spine, or you keep a straight spine. You move forward and up. Both will feel slightly different. Okay, great. You can put the strap aside. So, I'm just thinking, Ishvi, can you move your mat over to that wall over there? Just setting up, we're gonna set up near a wall because we're gonna start with our inversion work. Sure, I'm gonna be in the shots. Yeah. So while you guys are sitting up near a wall, I just want to talk a little bit about the different inversions before we get into them. So we have headstand, forearm stand, and handstand. In all honesty, most people will first succeed doing a headstand. One of the reasons is because our legs have to travel less far. The only issue is that headstand
is maybe it's more dangerous. It's not dangerous, but it's more easy to injure yourself, especially if you don't have the strength yet. So I want us all to be really careful when we're going to try all of these three. On the other hand, if you have a good core, headstand is probably like the easiest one to achieve. But I'm hoping that I can guide everyone to do it safely, because we don't want to kick up into a headstand. And a lot of people will do that, and they'll jump into a headstand. But this can be dangerous for your neck. You can easily fall out of it or something. And there is some pressure on your neck. Now, we're going to do a few drills to get ourselves used to being upside down in a headstand. But what I really, really want to advise everyone is when we get into this, you're going to press through. We're going to first do a basket headstand. There's a couple. I want to do basket and tripod today with you. But when you do, especially when you do the basket headstand, put a lot of pressure into your forearms, so much, push through the ground so much that your head starts feeling light in all the drills. I don't want to have too much pressure on the head. When we're going to do tripod headstand, there's going to be more pressure on your head in the beginning, especially because we don't, we're not, actually, inside joke, Simone sent me a really cool video practice training yesterday of this trainer who got into a handstand from a crowd. And I was saying, oh, you can also get into a handstand from a tripod handstand. But you need a lot of upper strength for this. You need to be able to carry your full body. So basically you need to be able to do like hundreds of pull-ups, or maybe not hundreds, but like you have to have a really good pull-up practice and things like this. So there's going to be some pressure on your head. If you feel like there's too much pressure on your head in a tripod headstand, or even the prep for tripod, please get out of it and do your basket. The only problem with a basket headstand is that you need more shoulder flexibility for it. So we're going to try to figure it out. We're going to come into our tripod headstand by interlacing your hands. And you're going to place them on your mat, and you're going to make sure that your elbows are shoulder distance apart, not wider, shoulder distance. And this is to ensure, again, that we safely take care of our neck. You're going to interlace your hands, and we're not going to come into the headstand yet, but I do want you to face a wall just for safety, for your own brain. You're going to place the crown of your head here, the flat part, you might be able to feel it. You're going to place that on the ground in between your hands. And from here, all you're going to do is push to the ground with your arm. You see how that changes my position? I'm almost floating here. Curl your toes under, push to the ground with your forearms, and lift the knees. From here, see if you can walk your feet in very close. And then walk them back out. And walk them back in. And walk them back out. Okay, everyone, you can start this. This is a drill. It's a headstand prep, but it's also a really good drill to get strength. Push through your arms, Ishvi. Push more through your forearms. Simone is already doing a headstand. Beautiful. Simone, can you come out of your headstand? Hopefully this will spotlight you. Can you show how you get into it? Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to make myself big again. So I don't know if this is going to be recorded on Zoom. So Simone is a student with mine who has done handstands and back bends and everything. And then she's also trained to be a yoga teacher. She does martial arts. So obviously she's a bit ahead of the game. Ishvi is trying to walk in and out. Now, Ishvi, you can take a little break. I'm going to show you there's several entrances to headstands, this basket handstand, but they are in depending on where your strengths and weaknesses are. So first we're going to do the tuck in version. And I have that block with you there to help you get a bit more height for your feet. Yeah, so we can see if you would need it. Maybe you don't need it, but maybe you do. So I'm going to come into my basket headstand, and this is called the tuck entry. I'm going to walk in as far as I can to see if I can get those hips over. Then I'm going to tuck one hand and tuck the other. If you can only tuck one, do that, you know? And see if you can get a little bit of float. And I want, yes, Simone, I want you to do the same. It's just like a really good core strength exercise. And what I want you to do actually is tuck a bit up and down. So once you're tucked in, move your hips over and in front again, over and in front, sort of work with that balance. Okay, so no jumping up. Can you bring your knee into your belly? Yes. Walk your, beautiful. Now do the other leg. You're sliding, and also maybe we can try a block. So yes, Simone, I want to see that hip tilt, forth and back now. And I want you to do a couple of these. These are really, really good ab workouts and compression strength workouts. Because I saw that you get in the, I would say the floating way, one leg up and on the other leg. Okay, Ishvi, can you walk your feet in closer towards you? Even closer. Yes, your hips are almost over. And try the other leg. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, I think with the case of Ishvi, oh, smart thinking, doing it at the wall. Simona's doing it at the wall now. I told, so that she can do more of the drills that I asked her to do. So one of the things that Ishvi was not showing, and I'll show to everyone in Ishvi, you'll see me do what's happening. So for any kind of inversion, your hips have to go over your shoulders, right? We know this, or not everyone knows this, but both of you know. You want to get your hips over your shoulders. So if you don't have your hips over your shoulders yet, what will happen is you will need to, and that has to do with flexibility. If you can't get those hips over yet, you will need a lot more strength. So you see that the very strong people are often able to get themselves upside down, even though they have horrible form. But then if very flexible people will have trouble staying up. I have a friend who's super flexible, but she can't hold any inversion very long because she just doesn't have the core strength. So again, you might be lacking both, like I did in the beginning. I'll show what was holding Ishvi back. And it's really her shoulder flexibility here, and possibly also strength, but mostly the flexibility. And that's why I want to see how you're going to do in a tripod. Yeah. So Ishvi couldn't walk further than this. And you see my hips are not over. So when I lift one leg, I don't have to jump. And we don't want to jump because that's a bit dangerous. So we're going to try the second entry, the entry that Simone is very comfortable with, which is one leg up and then floating the other one. And again, it's important that you walk your feet in as close as you can. When I said closer, your hips are much, much closer to being over. So I'm pushing through ground. I'm walking in again, my feet as far as I can. You see, I'm almost floating. I bring one leg up and I use that as leverage. And you know, you might touch the ground here, the wall is fine. Just really press into your forearms, not like this, like this. You see how much engagement there is? And then if you get up, see if you can get free from the wall. So if she's going to do that, now Simone, what I want you to do, I want you to go to the wall and I want you to work on your press up, either with both legs up. If that is too hard, only do the reverse drill. So you're going to go down with your pike legs as far as you can and then back up. Push through your shoulders, walking your feet more. Sorry, you're so close. Walking your feet more. More, yes, more. One leg up. I'm gonna assist you, but I want you to press really hard with your forearms into the mat. Walk it more. Yeah. Press into the mat. Here's the wall. Press into the mat. Press harder. Your head is hardly touching. Yeah. Beautiful.
I'm not pressing. I feel from air.
Yes. Yeah, basically that's you're almost feeling like your head is not touching.
Shouldn't I push more with my hand?
So with your forearms, you want to reach to the ground, and your head is feeling very light. Okay, I want to see Simone doing her press. And what you can do, if you want to do one more, we're going to go to forearm stance after this. You can place that block under your feet and see if it helps you get your hips over. Oh, nice straddle one. And see if you can lower pike, Simone. And for that, you really have to work on your hips. Engage your legs and go as, yeah. So you'll have to sort of like start moving your body towards the wall while your legs are going down. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna quickly assist. Yeah, I have it. You get scared now, okay. Well, we're gonna turn to forearm stance. Simone, if you're ready as well. So for those who don't know, I don't know how many people are gonna do the replay, but a forearm stand is an inversion on your forearms. And it looks like this. Now, requires a lot of upper body strength. There are 3 ways to practice this. The first entry is from a headstand. And actually, Simone, I know you can kick up into a forearm stand, but I actually want you to do it from a headstand. I'll show you. You're going to do a basket headstand. And you go up however you want to go up. Place your feet at the wall and press through your arms. And then see if you can find balance here. So Simone, I want you to do that. It's like a really good shoulder workout. Another option is to jump into it, but most people will not be able to. So we're going to do it with the wall. Instead of like this, I think we've done this before, right, in classes? And instead of like this, near a wall, and you're going to walk your feet up. And then you're going to press your chest towards the wall. From here, see if you can get your hips over. Maybe a leg over. And then see, maybe I can balance it. Or maybe not. I find it a bit more scary myself, but this is a way to get used to the move. And Ishvi, I want you to move your hands slowly, closely, I mean. Yeah. Now this is a hard move. So if at home you're having trouble with this, fully understand. This is, I find forearm stand harder personally than handstand. Press your chest towards the wall. Yeah, and walk the feet down a little bit so that your hips go over more. Down more. Keep this. Yes. Okay, this one, what you think? No. So it's just taking a rest because these are very hard. And Simone, beautiful line, by the way. Next thing, what I want you to do is also chest to wall, like I just showed. I don't know if you saw. chest to wall, bring one leg over and stag, and then see if you can balance a bit. I'll show you again. So I'm setting up for my forearm stand, interlacing my hands, elbows under shoulders, pressing into the mat, moving my foot up, and bring one leg over, and see if you can find balance somewhere. So this is for Simone because she's already quite advanced. And Ishvi, can you walk in your arms even more? So for people at home, the further your arms are away, the harder it will be to get your hips over. And it might help, Ishvi, if you look at the wall and now start walking your feet down, but keeping your legs, straight. And push those hips over your shoulders. Yeah. So this is actually very good for you. Yes. Great, Simone. And see if you can have that other foot just basically like float a little bit. So don't try to push it off the wall, but see if you can just move it off. Yeah. Don't move your knee. Beautiful, beautiful. So forearm stand is one of the hardest things. For people doing this at home, I'll show you what I usually see with beginners. So you know you're not alone. Arms too far away. And then it's impossible to bring your hips over. Another thing, and this is often to do with the flexibility of your shoulders, not even if to keep it flush. And people clenching a bit. This is completely fine. You need to do this to get balance. That's okay. It's just harder in terms of strength. Okay, now we did some up headstand. We did forearm stands. We're gonna turn to handstands. Now, for most people, it's gonna be very, very hard to kick up into a handstand if you've never done it. So depending on what this group will look like, I'll adjust for every student the kind of drills, just modify it depending on where you are in your practice. So far, it's going to see that everyone is going to join, has some background in inversions, so we can make it as advanced as we want. But if people want to join who are beginners and can't kick up yet, that's also completely fine. And I'll make sure that there's time for practicing all the drills at everyone's level. Okay, so but our first drill we're going to do, and so no matter, I do want to add actually, my both students who are here right now, Simone and Ishvi, both of you have pretty good form if you get into your handstands, but have troubles kicking up into a handstand, especially with the hands down. So Simone can do it from a gymnastics entry, and you can do it sometimes by yourself, but mostly with the help of an assist. So that's definitely something we'll be working on a lot, how to get that easy kick up. And I want to show two options in kicking up. Since we're starting here, people at home, please also practice along. Now, in my previous handstand program, I was teaching a lot about the shoulder over the wrist. It's a starting point, right? Where you do your handstand, you make sure that your shoulder is already over your wrists, or it's even a bit over, but not here. Now, the reason I'm teaching this, or I've taught this for a long time, is because this comes for me the most natural. Like, I feel like that's where I can get my balance, that's where I can get my strength from. But I also started realizing that this really depends on how your body is built. And I'm very lucky that I now work with a handstand coach who also showed me the other entry. I can't do the other entry. Like, my body doesn't like it, but it might help you. And because it allows your body, so you're actually starting with your shoulders behind your wrist, and it allows your body to propel itself a bit forward. And the idea is if you actually even move it over your wrist. So you don't only have your leg strength to put you up, but you're also using the momentum from your upper body. So I do want to try this with both of you and just see how it goes, and people at home as well. A quick introduction into handstands. You want to have your hands shoulder distance apart, preferably middle finger pointing forwards, but if you have a bit closed shoulders, you can also move your hands out to the side. Now I'm going to try this entry, and I tried it last week and I managed. And then when I understood, what he meant with it can help some people. But I don't know, it doesn't come naturally to me, so I hope I'm going to do it well. So this is entry number 1. You're starting with your shoulders, not over your wrists, but a bit here. You place one foot close to your body, other one goes up, and you use that momentum of also pushing your upper body forward. Now, as you can see, this is not my most beautiful entry, but I want everyone to try that. So the movement really is.
I think you made us do this in handstand program.
Huh?
You made us do this in handstand program.
I had to do this. Yeah, my coach told me to do this.
You made us do this.
As well?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Ah, sorry. Oh, apparently I did teach it like that as well. So it's a bit weird because you also use your upper body to go forward. And just do some kicks. And I know they're scary. The only way to learn it is by doing quite a lot of kick-ups. Of course, the reason we're working on strength and flexibility, because they massively help. Yeah, the stronger and more flexible you are, the easier it is getting. How did it feel?
I'm not pushing enough.
You're not pushing up through the ground. Yeah. Another tip is really push through the ground. Okay, we're going to do entry number 2, which is shoulders over wrist. And then you really have to work on using the strength of your push leg and the momentum of your swing leg to go up. The push leg is the leg that's on the ground. The swing leg is the leg that is up. And I'll show you for those at home. Again, I'm stepping up like I normally am, but now I'm either putting my shoulders over my wrists or a bit here. I'm grabbing the mat with my fingers, and I'm going up. As you can see, everyone at home, that one was much easier for me. But every body is different, so try this entry as well. Check where your shoulders are, if they are on top of your wrist, and try a couple of kick-ups. And see again, which one makes you feel like you can get higher up? Which one makes you feel more safe? And these are very tiring. Kick-ups are very, very tiring work. Now, most people will have also fear of getting upside down, right? So your kick-up may look like this. And you're already like, oh, this is very scary. That's fine. That's when we start. Okay, so those were 2 kick-ups that you can try, and what we'll work on throughout this program, also in the handstand part, we'll use props, right? We'll use something higher up to put our feet on. We'll use chairs that we jump off to get that feeling of what our body needs to do. But we'll also do a lot of wall work. So we're gonna finish today's class with some chest to wall work. First an L shape, and then a closer chest to wall. I don't like myself too close to the wall, it scares me. But before we do this, and we take a breather, because these are very hard drills, especially the upside down drills. This is what the program's gonna look like. So we will have usually
So we have basically classes 3 times a week, right? In the morning classes, we'll have about 40 minutes of drills to make us stronger and more flexible, and then 20 minutes of workshopping. In the evenings, we will have mobility classes for 30 minutes and then Q&As, questions, or workshopping. For example, we'll workshop a handstand, we'll workshop a headstand, whatever it is that you as students want to do. Now, my idea was, and it will depend on the students as well, that we will focus in the workshopping parts for 8 classes on the headstand, 8 classes on the forearm stand, and then 8 classes on the handstand. And it doesn't matter which level you are at, because as you can see, even if you can do a headstand, 1, you can work on your press. 2, what you can work on is different hand positions. For example, having your hands out, how does that feel? Can you do that? So we'll have a lot of fun working with shapes in headstand, for example, as well. Like, can we move? How can we move our legs around? Can we move our legs? Can we make nice little figures with our legs while we're in a headstand? So those are all the things that we'll be working on. Now we had our break. We're gonna do an L hold. For an L hold, you want to be a leg distance away from the wall. It might feel initially easier to have your hands a bit further away, but it actually might be more difficult to get your hips over then. So play your gun for this. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Grab the mat with your fingers. Push through the mat and walk your feet up butt height. Now, what I personally like to do is usually push my chest a bit towards the wall, and then put my legs out. And then you can lift one leg, or you can stay in your L. I'm having very, very tight calves today for some reason. So if you're feeling you're tight in your calves or hamstrings and cannot get that really nice 90 degrees, place your feet a bit higher up. If you do it from your foot instead of the knees, it'll be easier to get up. On your foot. Lift at both knees. Yeah, yes. Push your chest towards the wall, and now push out of the mat with your hands. Yes. Push more. I think for the next one, Ishvi, walk your hands in slowly, more. Okay, and for you, Simone, see if you can bring that top leg, oh, sorry. Okay, so if an L hold was accessible to you like it is to Simone, what I want you to do next is bring that leg behind you, either in stag or straight, like scissor legs, until your other foot starts floating off. So it's a bit scary, but you really want to like get that feeling of floating off. Instead of pushing it off, don't push it off, just keep that foot on the mat, but use your other leg to counterbalance and get that float. I can show you if you want to. And you can have your foot a bit higher as well if you want, or wherever it is. Like that. So you might want to do it at the wall instead of at the cabinet, because the cabinet might be a bit scary to float off of, but that's up to you, whatever your brain thinks. Oh, so if she unfortunately has to leave, but yeah. Yes, definitely. I'll send you the information for the Inversion program, yeah. Okay, so Simone is now trying to get light in that foot by sort of bringing the back leg, and use your hands. Pull the mat with your hands. Really grab it. You're very, yes. Yes, that's it. So Simone, you can unmute yourself now if you want to, because it's the last part of the class. So we can talk a bit. So what Simone was doing is already quite advanced. So it depends on where you are in your practice. And if that is not scary for your brain yet. Like, I mean, it is still scary, probably, Simone, right? But what she was doing is using counterbalance to sort of have that other foot lifting off and feeling that moment of float. Now, for anyone trying to do this at home, I do want to add that by doing a handstand chest to wall and finding that float is for most people scarier than trying to find balance with your back against the wall. And these are all things we will work on during the program.
So it was a bit scary, but not that scary. It felt before when I tried it weeks ago or something.
Yeah, so you feel more secure now. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you on Saturday then. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna finish the recording. Thanks everyone for doing this class. I hope you all enjoyed it. And again, really the level of the class will depend a lot on who's in the class, also what we'll focus on. It's a very flexible program. So if you're very advanced and you want to join to get like 20-second balance, like freestanding handstand, feel free to join. Or if you have never kicked up in your life and you're even afraid, or not even, and you are afraid of headstand, most people are afraid of headstand. I was afraid of headstands. Then this class is also for you, even if you've never worked out in your life, because we will just work on everyone's strength and flexibility. And so if you're already strong and flexible, you just get more strong and more flexible towards the end of it. So hope to see many of you.